Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 23rd of April 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. So guys, watch this video till last, but I am requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. But before proceeding, I just want to discuss about Affairs Cloud application, that is Careers Cloud. So guys, you can download this application from the description box link. The downloading link is given in the description box and it is very simple method that you can download from that downloading link. And you can log in with your email ID. After login, you have to click on this Crack Current Affairs section and you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 years. It means you can subscribe for 12 months as well as for 24 months. Both the prices are very much low, but what we are providing under this subscription, we are providing daily current affairs. In the daily current affairs section, we are providing three type of the sections. One is related to the detailed current affair of particular day. Next is the question and answer format of the current affair of particular day. Next is the quiz section that you can attempt on our application. Next is the weekly section. In the weekly section, again, we are providing three sections. One is the detailed current affair on the weekly basis. Next is the question and answer format of the current affairs on the weekly basis. And last is the quiz section that you can attempt on our application. Next is the most important section is the monthly section, because we are providing various type of the PDFs to enhance your performance. Like first is the study PDF. It means all the detailed current affair of particular month will be provided under this PDF. Next is to revise this current affair. We are also providing the question and answer PDF so that you can revise again and again before your exam. Next is the top 100. It means the best 100 current affairs will be provided to you. That is also provided in the question and answer format so that you can revise these current affairs very easily. And last is the pocket PDF. That is also for your exam, because you can revise the current affair very quickly in the one-liner or the two-liner. So this is the main motive of the pocket PDF. So all these things included under one subscription, but we are also providing smart PDFs. Smart PDF stands for the topic-wise PDF. It means if you just want to revise one particular topic, then you have to pick this topic-wise current affair. Like if you want to revise the apps and web portal, important days, books and authors, national current affair, international current affair, obituaries, or you can say the sports section, anything, we are providing 20 type of the PDF so that you can revise one particular topic very easily, and it will enhance your performance definitely. Guys, we are also providing the banking awareness section for banking aspirant students, and we are providing three type of the sections under this banking awareness. One is the detailed current affair of banking and economy only, and the question and answer format of the current affairs of banking and economy. We are also providing the quiz section so that you can attempt the quiz, especially related to the banking and economy on our application. Next is the exam PDF. This is again very important because we are compiling every month current affair under one PDF. It means, like you can say in April, we are covering the January, February and March current affair. It means 3 months completed, and we compiled all these 3-month current affair under one PDF so that before your exam, you have to just pick only one PDF and you have to revise all the current affairs. Next is the special current affair like budget and economic survey. We are providing important facts and the detailed budget and economic survey, and we are also providing question and answer, that is the expected question and answer the examiner can ask from the budget and economic survey. We are also covering the state current affairs, because if you are preparing for the your center government exam, you are definitely preparing for your state current affairs. Then this section is very important because we are covering every state and the union territory, So guys, this is also included under the same subscription. So it means there is no different subscription. We are providing all things under one subscription. You have to just download our application, that is Careers Cloud, and you have to log in with your email ID and you have to click on this Crack Current Affairs section. After that, you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 years. The prices are very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprise, and on that minimal price, we are providing 10% extra discount. If you use this code ASH10, then you will get 10% extra discount. And friends, if you have any type of the query, you can mail us on this email ID like support@affairscloud.com, and you can call on this number if you have particular or if you are facing any type of the difficulty. You can also comment us, and I am replying all the comments personally. So guys, this is our sports center. Now we can move to today's section, that is 23rd of April 2021. But I'm again requesting you all the students that you have to like this video. We have a target of 700 plus. You have to subscribe this channel and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. So let's begin today's session with the most important question section, and here is our first question. What is the rank of India in World Press Freedom Index 2021? So guys, mark this under the most important question because it is the most important index all over year. That is the World Press Freedom Index 2021. Every type of the index question, you have to remember three type of the things. Like one is top country who topped this index. Second, India's rank, especially if India is ranked under this index. And third is who published this index. So these three things you have to learn about any type of the index which will be published. So first of all, let's discuss about which country topped in the World Freedom Index. The country is Norway. So guys, remember the name of the country is Norway, who topped in the World Press Freedom Index. It means the maximum freedom provided to the press. The country is Norway, and the second rank goes to Finland, and third rank goes to Sweden. But you have to just remember the first rank. Next, what is the rank of India? The rank of India in 2020 is same as in 2021. It means India retained the same position as in 2020, and rank of India is 142nd. It means the answer of this question is D. Now the third is who published this index. That is again very important. The organization name is Reporters Without Borders. Reporter Without Border, or the new name is the Reporters Sans Frontiers, or also known as the RSF. So these three things are very, very important under every index. So guys, remember India's rank is 142nd, and which country top? That is Norway. So India ranks 142 out of 180 countries on the World Press Freedom Index, and you can also see this. And this index is released by Reporters Sans Frontiers, or also known as the Reporters Without Borders. And the index is topped by Norway for the fifth time. It means the fifth time Norway topped this index, and second rank goes to Finland, and third rank goes to Sweden. And India has been classified as a country with a bad environment for press freedom. And this is a huge concern for India like democracy, because there are so many categories. Like if the country has 0 to 15 points, that is a good situation. 15 to 25 points, that is the satisfactory situation. 25 to 35 problematic situation. 35 to 55 difficult situation. Now India is in the bad situation, environment for the press freedom. And India has scored 46.56 and retained 142nd rank. That is also ranked in 2020. The country of Eritrea sits as the sets as the bottom of the ranking, like 180. It means the last rank goes to Eritrea. It means the very less freedom or very much restrictions on the press is put by the Eritrea. China's rank is also very down. China's rank is 177 because China has one political party and there are so much restrictions on the press. So that's why. So guys, North Korea also under the lowest ranking. Like North Korea, 179 rank is North Korea, because North Korea is a monarchy country. So you can also remember this. And Pakistan 145, Bangladesh 152. Nepal rank is very much improved. Nepal ranking is 106th. 106. Sri Lanka is also ahead of India. Sri Lanka ranking is 127. I am writing the neighboring countries here. So you can see first I am writing here Nepal ranking is good than India. Nepal ranking is 106. Next you have to remember about Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka is also ahead of India, 127 rank. 127. Myanmar is also ahead of India, like Myanmar rank is 140. But Pakistan rank is 145 and Bangladesh is 152. China is 177. So these are the basically neighboring countries which are basically touching the boundary with India. So remember all the things which I told you. And guys, you can also remember the World Press Freedom Index is an annual ranking which ranks countries according to the level of freedom available to the journalist. And it has been released report since year 2002. And there are so many indicators. The report states that an environment of journalism has been created by the present national government, which makes it tough for the journalists to function. And journalists are exposed to very kind of attacks, including the police violence, especially in India, ambushed by political activists and instigated by the criminal group. So this is the basically reason for India's downfall in the press freedom index. So you have to remember. And journalism has been completely or partially blocked in 73% of the 180 countries ranked by the this Reporters Without Borders organization. So guys, this is just information. You have to just remember 2 or 3 things I already covered. Top country, India's rank, and who published this report. These 3 things are very important for you. And guys, other 3 options options are again very important, like 131st rank. This rank comes in India like Human Development Index. This is the rank of India in Human Development Index, and this report is published by UNDP, United Nations Development Program. But it is a ranking of 2020, and remember the country topped under this index in the Human Development Index, that is Norway. Next is 86th rank. Guys, this is again very important. We discussed yesterday also that this is a corruption perception index, and India's rank is 86th, and this rank is released by Transparency International, and New Zealand and Denmark topped under this index. Next is the 8th rank. 8th rank, India covered under the Global Terrorism Index. Global Terrorism Index, and it is released by Institute for Economics and Peace. Which country topped? It means the most terrorist activities done in Afghanistan. So the top country is Afghanistan. So guys, remember all the options. Now we can move to the next question. Again, there is an index. What is the rank of India in the Global Energy Transition Index 2021? So guys, you have to remember again the report name, Global Energy Transition Index 2021. Three things you have to remember: the top country, second thing, India's rank, and third thing, who publish this rank. These three things are important, any type of index. So top country is Sweden, guys. You have to remember Sweden top. Norway is on the second. Denmark is on the third. So Sweden topped under the Global Energy Transition Index. What is the rank of India? India's rank is 87th. India's rank is 87th, and this index is published by World Economic Forum. So these three things again very important. So India's rank is 87. So answer C is correct. You can see this, India's rank 87th in the Global Energy Transition Index. You can also see this Global Energy Transition Index is published by World Economic Forum, and the report, which is also known as the Fostering Effective Energy Transition 2021, under which this index is released. The index was topped by Sweden. Sweden is on the first spot, Norway is on the second, and third is the Denmark. These countries are very famous in every index. So guys, you have to remember the Sweden is on the first rank. And in 2021 edition, the report marks the 10th anniversary of the Energy Transition Index. And you can also remember the countries in the Asian region. Malaysia came at the top in the index, and total in the Asian region 13 countries are ranked, but India finished at the 9th position. It means the fourth lowest country in the Asian group is India. And the countries have been also ranked based on the performance of their energy system across the three dimensions, and these three dimensions are economic development and growth, environmental sustainability, and energy access and the security. It also takes note on the recent changes in the global energy landscape and the increasing urgency of the climate change action. And among G20 countries, because India is also, remember, the United Kingdom topped the ranking, while India finished on the 19th rank. Now, two things are more important under this question, except these three countries like top, publication, and the India's rank. One is the out of Asian countries, what is the rank of India? That is 9th. Out of G20 countries, India's rank is 19th. It means in the energy index, India is on the bottom list if we are comparing the organization or the region areas. And in 2020, India's rank was slightly improved, like 74th rank of India. Now it is 87th rank. So it is basically a downgrading of India. And India is working so much on this system like energy transition, and India is also working on the clean energy resources. So it will improve in the future. And guys, you have to remember this energy transition index benchmarks country on the performance of their energy system as well as their readiness for transition to a secure, sustainable, affordable, and reliable energy future. So this is the main problem of India, because India is not ready for the transition to a secure, sustainable, affordable, and the reliable energy future. So this is the main thing that is not matching with India. So guys, you have to remember all these things, and now we can move to other question, but you can remember the other options also here. The rank here is 94. So you have to remember under which index India ranked the 94th. It is Global Hunger Index. Remember, it is Global Hunger Index of 2020, in which India ranked 94th, and this is basically published by the Concern Worldwide. Next is the 121st. This is again important. We discussed in the last video that this rank gained by India in the Economic Freedom Index of 2021. And this index is released by basically US-based think tank named Heritage Foundation. And which country topped in the Economic Freedom Index? That is Singapore. Singapore. And Singapore is also hosting the World Economic Forum of 2021. Next rank is 72nd. This is again important because this rank India gained in Global Talent Competitive Index. Global Talent Competitive Index of 2020. And which country topped in the competitive index? That is Switzerland. Switzerland. So guys, remember, and this index is published by Tata Communication. So these are very important things you have to remember. Now we can move to the next question. Which university is the only Indian university entered in the list of world top 100 educational institutions for sustainability? It is the ranking of the Impact Ranking 2021. So the most important keyword under this question is the Impact Ranking 2021, and the stands for Times Higher Education. Times Higher Education. So remember what is the meaning of the Impact Ranking 2021. So what is the meaning of this impact ranking? The impact ranking assess universities against the 17 United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals. It means all the rankings is based on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals which have to completed by the 2023. And around 1240 universities from 98 countries were assessed for the 2021 edition. And India's only university which is ranked in the world top 100 educational institutions who are basically focusing on the sustainable development goals is Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. So guys, remember the answer is C, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. That is the only university in the top 100 and its global ranking is 81. But if we are taking the top 200 universities, then India's universities are 3. One is the Lovely Professional University in the ranking of 100 to 200 or 101 to 200, and GSS Academy of Higher Education also 101 to 200. It means if we are taking the top world 200 universities, then India's universities are 3. One is the Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. It is situated in Tamil Nadu. GSS Academy of Higher Education, that is in Karnataka, and Lovely Professional University in Punjab, Jalandhar. So you can also remember, if the examiner is asking about 100, top 100, then only university is that is Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, that is in Tamil Nadu. So you can see this 3 Indian schools make it the global SDG list of 200 universities by the Time Higher Education Impact Ranking. So impact stands for the Sustainable Development Goals Impact. And Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Tamil Nadu, become the only university in the top 100, and it was ranked 81st in the overall global ranking and 3rd edition of the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking of 2021. But at the global level, which university topped in this Sustainable Development Impact Ranking 2021? That is University of Manchester. University of Manchester in the United Kingdom. Second rank goes to University of Sydney in Australia, and Remit University of Australia grabbed the top 3 places. So 3 things are very important under this question. One is the only university name, that is the most important thing. Which university topped in the global ranking? Third is it is published by the Times Higher Education, the Impact Ranking 2021, because there are 2 rankings which are published by the Times Times Higher Education ranking. One is the Times Higher Education World University Ranking of 2021. Don't confuse it with that question, because in September 2020, Times Higher Education released the World University Ranking of 2021, and Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, ranked under the 301 to 350 group. That is the top university from Indian side, which represented under the World University Ranking of 2021, released by the Times Higher Education Ranking. And total 63 Indian institutions were qualified in the University Ranking of 2021 by the Higher Education. So guys, remember, these are the very important things you have to remember, and Times Higher Education headquarters is in London. So you have to remember all these things which I told you. Now we can move to the next question. Who has been appointed as the external auditor of Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons? And I am giving you a hint that this person was reappointed as the chairman of panel of external auditors of the United Nations for the year of 2021, and we covered this question in the most important section in starting of March 2021. And this person was 14th Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and this person is Girish Chandra Murmu. So guys, remember Girish Chandra Murmu, who was also the first Lieutenant Governor Governor of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir from October 2019 to August 2020, because he was appointed as CAG. Now the position was vacant. After that, Manoj Sinha was appointed as the Lieutenant Governor of the Jammu and Kashmir. So guys, remember all these things, like Girish Chandra Murmu now appointed as the external auditor of the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, and also he was appointed as the basically reappointed as the chairman of the panel of external auditors of the United Nations for the year of 2021, and he is the 14th CAG of India. Remember, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. And for how much time period he was appointed as the external auditor of this OPCW? He was appointed for the time period of 3 years starting from the 2021. And India was also elected as the member of Executive Council of OPCW, representing the Asia Group for another 2-year time period. So you have to remember that India is representing all Asia's group in the OPCW, like Prohibition of Chemical Weapons Organization. And guys, you can also remember this OPCW, Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapon, is an intergovernmental organization and implementing body for the Chemical Weapons Convention, which entered into force in 1997. And it oversees the global endeavor for permanent and verifiable elimination of chemical weapons, and total member countries are same as the United Nations. 193 countries are the member countries. So remember, where is the headquarter of this organization? Headquarter is in Hague, Netherlands. Hague, Netherlands. And International Court of Justice also situated in the Hague, Netherlands. So you can remember two organizations which are situated in the Hague, Netherlands, because Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons headquarters is in the same building as in the International Court of Justice. That's why the headquarters is same, that is Hague, Netherlands. So guys, remember the other options also. One is the Tarun Bajaj. He was recently appointed as the Revenue Secretary, basically additional charge as the Revenue Secretary. Next is Jaideep Bhatnagar, again very important personality, Jaideep Bhatnagar. He was appointed as Principal Director General of Press Information Bureau. So guys, remember, Principal Director General of Press Information Bureau. Next is Sharad Solanki. Remember, Sharad Solanki was recently appointed as President of AU Small Finance Bank. This is basically for the banking exam aspirants. AU Small Finance Bank. Sharad Goklani. Remember this. And Girish Chandra Murmu, you all know. So guys, this is all for this news. India Comptroller and Auditor General GC Murmu appointed as external auditor of the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. Where is the headquarters of this organization? That is in Hague, Netherlands. Now we can move to next question. We covered all these things, and this group was created in 1997. Who will represent India at the World Cities Cultural Forum 2021? First of all, you have to remember, what is this forum? Like World Cities Cultural Forum. This is an annual summit attended by the deputy mayors for culture and heads of the culture from the member cities, and it will hosted by each member city annually. And guys, remember the theme of this World Cities Cultural Forum 2021 is the future of culture. So it is basically to preserve the culture, and the forum comprises 40 world cities including London, Tokyo, New York, and this forum was hosted by which country? This forum was hosted by London. So remember, this forum was hosted by London, and who is representing India? That is Arvind Kejriwal, because out of the 40 world city, India, Delhi is also there. So that's why Arvind Kejriwal is representing from the Indian side as well as from the Delhi side. So Arvind Kejriwal, Chief Minister of Delhi, will be representing Delhi and India at the World Cities Cultural Forum 2021. You have to remember the theme, the future of culture. It means it is to preserve the culture. So guys, remember this thing. Now we can move to next question. What is the name of India's 68th chess grandmaster who recently won the chess grandmaster game? And recently we covered a news about the 67th grandmaster, and this was a news of December 2020 that one person or one child or 14-year-old child from Goa known as Leon Mendonca, Mendonca, Leon Mendonca from Goa became India's 67th grandmaster in December 2020. But now we are talking about the 68th chess grandmaster, and the name is Arjun Kalyan. So guys, remember answer is Arjun Kalyan. And Leon Mendoka is 67th Grandmaster who won in December 2020. And he hails from which city or which state? He hails from Tamil Nadu. He hails from Tamil Nadu. And guys, remember, he defeated the Dragon Kosik of Montenegro in the 5th round of the ongoing Grandmaster round robin, Ruzhna Zora 3. The main event is Ruzhna Zora 3. This is the main event. Ruzhna Zora 3, and this is hosted by Serbia. So this is the clear winner of this chess tournament, and Arjun Kalyan you have to remember. So you can see here the picture of Arjun Kalyan, and he's just 18 years old, and he hails from which state? He hails from Tamil Nadu. So you can also remember this. The name of the event is Ruzhna Zora 3, and Grandmaster Ruzhna Zora Grandmaster is a title awarded by the FIDE, that is the International Chess Federation, and it is the highest title of a chess player can obtain apart from the World Championship. And guys, you can also remember where is the headquarter of this Federation of International Chess Federation. The headquarter is in Lausanne, Switzerland. And don't remember the president, just remember the headquarter. And the first Grandmaster from India is Vishwanathan Nand, very famous player in the chess category, who received it in 1988. So the most important thing is Arjun Kalyan. Now we can move to next question. Again, it is most important question that BRICS Games 2021 will be hosted by which state? So I am giving you hint. The state which is hosting the youth games, or you can say the Khelo India Youth Games of 2021, that state is Haryana. So answer of this question is Haryana. This Khelo India Youth Games of 2021 will be held from 21st of November to 5th of December, and it will be hosted by 5 areas of Haryana or the NCR like Panchkula, Ambala, Shahbad, Delhi and Chandigarh. But guys, you have to remember other 2 Khelo India Games. One is the Khelo India Winter Games, that is hosted by Jammu and Kashmir, and Khelo India University Games, that is hosted by Karnataka. So remember this also. And the decision was taken during the first meeting of the Executive Committee of the Khelo India Youth Game 2021, which was chaired by the Vijay Vardhan, who is currently the Chief Secretary of Haryana at Chandigarh. But it is not important. You have to remember this will be the first time that the Khelo India Youth Games are held away from the January window and in multiple cities, because otherwise it will be hosted by only one city of the state, but now it is hosted by multiple cities like Panchkula, Ambala, Delhi, Chandigarh, and it is also held away from the January window because it is hosted in the month of the November and the December. So that's why these two things are basically unique under this question. So you can also remember Haryana to host Khelo India Youth Games, and this state will also host the BRICS Games along with this Khelo India Youth Game. You can also see this. Haryana is set to host this 4th edition of the Khelo India Youth Game 2021. And guys, 25 type of the sports, including 5 traditional sports which are recently added. One is the Gatka, next is the Clariotu, Thangla or the Thangta, next is the Malakhamba and the Yogasana. Yoga Asan basically recently added by the Kiran Rijiju ji, and other 4 events basically the traditional art style of particular state. Like I am explaining you, this Gatka belongs to which state? This Gatka originates from Punjab. Claripattu belongs to Kerala. Thangla basically belongs to Manipur martial art, or you can say the Manipur art. Next is the Malakhamba. Malakhamba is Madhya Pradesh state sport, and other states also covering this Malakhamba. And Yoga Asana has also been included this tournament. It is basically related to yoga, and it is under 18 category, will be organized at the 4th Khelo India Youth Games, and BRICS Games also organized along with this game. Around 8,500 players across India and the other countries will be participating in the games, and a sports expo will also be organized during the Khelo India Youth Games 2021. So guys, remember all the things. Now we can move to next question, but here the state is important. Haryana is important. Haryana Chief Minister is Manohar Lal Khattar. And who is the governor? Governor is Satyadev Narayan Arya. And very important 2 national parks in Haryana. Very 2 important. One is Sultanpur National Park. Next is Kalesar National Park. national park. These two national parks are very important in Haryana. Now we can move to next question. And here are all most important questions covered. Now we are moving to very important question, guys. You have to like this video, 700 plus likes we want. You have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe the channel if you are watching this video first time. What is the theme of the United Nations International Mother's Earth Day, which has been observed annually across the globe on 22nd of April? So guys, you have to remember, it is also known as the Earth Day. Now it is known as International Mother Earth Day, which is celebrated on the 22nd of April. Now, what is the theme of this day? Theme is the Restore Our Earth. So answer of this question is C. But you have to remember the other options. First option is forest and livelihood, sustaining people and planet. This is the theme of World Wildlife Day. World Wildlife Day, which is celebrated on 3rd of March 2021. Next is valuing water. This is again very important because this is the theme of World Water Day. So guys, remember World Water Day. When it is celebrated, World Water Day is celebrated on 22nd of March 2021. The clock is ticking. Again, this is important because it is celebrated on 24th of March and the day is World Tuberculosis Day. So these three themes are very, very important, and this can be asked in any type of the exam. So guys, remember, International Mother Earth Day theme is Restore Our Health or Restore Our Earth, and it is celebrated on 22nd of April. So why this day is celebrated? It is very simple. The day aims to create awareness about the hazardous environment effects, to protect the people livelihood and to stop the biodiversity decline. So you have to remember this. And this time we are celebrating 51st Earth Day. 51st Earth Day on the 22nd of April 2021, because first Earth Day was celebrated in 1970. Now we are moving to the next question, and remember the theme. Next question is Tata Steel Limited and which bank executed the global first blockchain enabled paperless transaction in the steel industry? And this transaction is basically goes to United Arab Emirates. It means it is with the companies of United Arab Emirates. Tata Steel is the exporter and the companies of United Arab Emirates is importer, and the transaction is executed through the blockchain platform. And this bank who performed this, that is HSBC Bank. Remember, HSBC India and HSBC United Arab Emirates both done this first blockchain transaction through the Tata Steels and the United Arab Emirates company. So it is the global first Tata Steel HSBC blockchain enabled paperless trade deal. And under this transaction, Tata Steel exported steel to the Universal Tube and Plastic Industries belongs to United Arab Emirates. And HSBC UAE has issued the letter of credit to Universal Tube and Plastic Industries with HSBC India as the advising and negotiating bank for the Tata Steel. So from the Universal Tube and Plastic Industries, it is represented by HSBC UAE, and from the Tata Steel, it is represented by HSBC India, and both the transactions done through the blockchain technology. So this blockchain type of digitalization, or you can say digitalization of the transactions, reduce the cost associated with the paper-based documentation, and also the time reduced from weeks to the days. So this is the basically benefit of the exporter as well as the importer. And recent related news you have to remember, ITI Limited and Thalamus Irvine have developed a first of its kind technology called Garuda blockchain platform for storing medical data on the blockchain. And it is the first time that any type of the medical data is stored on the blockchain platform. And both the organization have demonstrated a working proof of concept for the technology with 300 patients, and name of this technology is Garuda blockchain platform. So the most important keyword under this recent related news is the name of the blockchain platform, that is Garuda, and it is used to store the medical data of the blockchain. So guys, remember, this is important question. Now we can move to the next question, but you can remember about the HSBC. Where is the headquarter of HSBC? Many students thinking about the Hong Kong, but it is not right. HSBC headquarter is in London, United Kingdom, and it was established in 1865. Remember, and don't remember about the chairman because it is a foreign bank. Now we can move to next question. The 6th Global Forum on TB Vaccines 2022 will be convened in which country? Because in 2021, 5th Global Forum on TB Vaccine took place, and it was held virtually, so that's why there is no country who representing. But in 2020, it is decided that which country will convene the Global Forum on the TB vaccines. And the country is, guys, France. So remember, country is France, but remember it is for 2022, not for the 2021, because in 2021 it is the 5th Global Forum on TB vaccine. You can see this. Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare Dr. Harshvardhan addresses 5th Virtual Global Forum on TB vaccines. And Union Minister Harshvardhan called upon the global community to ensure fundings to develop the TB vaccine by year 2023. It means our health minister is ensuring that we have to develop the TB vaccine by year 2023 to eradicate the TB in India by the year of 2025. We have to eradicate tuberculosis by the year of 2025 and globally before 2030. Globally, we have to eradicate tuberculosis by the 2030 under the Sustainable Development Program. But in India especially, it will be eradicated in the year of 2025. And guys, remember recently Lakshadweep became the first tuberculosis-free union territory in India. You have to remember this. Lakshadweep became the first tuberculosis-free union territory in India, and Budgam district of the Jammu and Kashmir become the first TB-free district of India. These two things we covered under the most important news recently. So you have to remember. This is the world. What is this tuberculosis vaccine global forum? This is the world largest gathering of the stakeholders working toward research and development of the TB vaccine so that we can eradicate tuberculosis by year of 2030 globally, and we have to prepare the TB vaccine by the year of 2023 in between the COVID-19 vaccine, because the forum discusses advancing the technology of the TB vaccines in the time of the COVID-19. So remember all the information, and guys, remember TB Mukt Bharat campaign launched by the Indian government to eradicate TB in India by the year of 2025. So we repeated so many things again and again so that you can remember. And guys, remember recently Harshvardhan ji elected as the chairman of India's Stop TB Partnership Board. India's Stop TB Partnership Board. This is again very important, and we covered this question. And tuberculosis is one of the critical health challenges of India, which has a huge impact on the health, social and financial condition of the patients and the community. So it should be eradicated. Now we can move to the next question. Which capital city released the first of its kind draft cycling policy in India? So in the today's time, when there is a requirement of these type of the policies, one capital city of India draft a policy related to the cycling. So it is very energy efficient. Basically, there is no use of energy. It is also very important for health and also very important for the traffic policy. So the cycling policy of India is basically prepared by one of the very famous city, that is Chandigarh. It is capital city of Haryana as well as Punjab. So guys, remember, it means Chandigarh has released a first of its kind draft cycling policy. This is the first time for a city to draft a cycling policy in India, and the draft recognizes cycling as one of the environment friendly and quickest mode of transport in urban areas. And the policy was drafted by the Chandigarh Smart City Limited. So the what are the main highlights of this draft? It is just to enhance the safety of the cyclist by creating safe refuse points for the women and persons with disabilities through 24/7 CCTV surveillance. So you can see this Chandigarh drafted first of its kind cycling policy, and you can also see this. It is for the safety of the cyclist by creating safe refuse points of the women and person with a disability through 24/7 CCTV surveillance. So especially focus on the women's safety. The draft also highlights the need to identify and remove the social and physical barriers that prevent the individuals to adopt cycling. And the draft also includes the need to have provisions of cycle tracks which can be integrated with the other public transport. So there is a need of panic button for the women's bicycles and financial incentive for a specific distance traveled and improve in the non-motorized transport lane. So if you are providing some financial incentive, if you travel this much of distance, then definitely people will prefer the cycling, because there is a need of financial assistance to everyone. So that's why in the COVID-19 time period, so everyone will use cycle. And there is also to identify and remove the social and physical barriers that prevent the individuals to adopt cycling. There are very much social barriers and the physical barriers there, so we have to remove that. Now we can move to the next section, next question basically. Which bank appointed Ernst and the Young Global Limited, a multinational professional services network, as its digital consultant? So this partnership is a part of this bank growth strategy to transform its banking service into the digital format, and this digital format conversion will be done through the Ernst and the Young Global Limited, a multinational professional services network, and this bank is Indian Overseas Bank. So remember, Indian Overseas Bank. So it means this partnership is a part of Indian Overseas Bank growth strategy to transform its banking service into the digital format, and its main aim to increase Indian Overseas Bank digital share in the market and to attract millennial customers. So you can see this, it is a part of this strategy of the Indian Overseas Bank, and the digital consultant will support Indian Overseas Bank to focus on utilizing and adopting the new technologies and enhance its service quality and delivery its customers. And guys, remember, this initiative will also help the bank to speed up digitalization in all the areas of banking, like assets and liability products and the services. You have to just remember who will digitalize Indian Overseas Bank. That is the Ernst and the Young Global Limited, which is a multinational professional service network, who will provide the digital consultant to the Indian Overseas Bank. Now the main thing under this question is Indian Overseas Bank. Indian Overseas Bank basically established in 1937. Its MD and CEO is Partha Pritam. Partha Pritam. You can remember the name. Headquarters in Tamil Nadu, or you can say the city is Chennai, and tagline is good people to grow with. Good people to grow with. So this bank is not so much in news, so you can remember easily what is news related to this. Now we can move to next question. Which company and Indiabulls Housing Finance Limited entered into a strategic co-lending partnership to offer housing loan to the home buyer? So the most important thing here, what is this co-lending partnership? So under the co-lending, two lenders firms will come together to disperse loan, and the association will also firms to source clients, perform credit appraisals and disperse funds. And these two companies are, one is the Indiabulls Housing Finance Limited, second is the HDFC Housing Development Finance Corporation. It means these two financial corporations signed a strategic co-lending partnership to offer housing loan to the home buyers. It means they can fulfill the dream of so many people who can buy house. So this is HDFC enters into the co-lending partnership with the Indiabulls Finance or housing finance. You can see this, the loan under this program will be in the funding ratio of 80:20. So what is the meaning of 80:20? In which 80% of the loan is with the HDFC books and 20% with the Indiabulls Housing Finance Limited books. Indiabulls will service the loan account throughout the life cycle of the loan, and it holds 20% of the credit risk by way of direct exposure. Because according to the RBI guideline, in case of the co-lending between the one of the non-banking financial company and the banks, the Reserve Bank of India has mandated to share a minimum of 20% of the credit risk by way of direct exposure on NBFC's books till maturity, and the balance on the bank's book. So that's why 20% is the must. That's why this Indiabulls is sharing 20% and 80% is with the HDFC. But RBI had not specified any prohibition over two non-banking finance companies from using the co-lending model, because we are not talking about HDFC Bank. We are talking about a housing development finance company. It means it is also a NBFC, and Indiabulls is also a NBFC. So RBI has not specified if there is a co-lending agreement between the two NBFC, what will be the sharing model. So both HDFC and Indiabulls HFL are the NBFC. So they can lend as much as they can. So under the co-lending agreement, I already told you, and recent related news you have to remember, HDFC Bank was adjudged as the India's best bank for small and medium enterprises at the Asia Money Best Bank Award 2021 of Asia Money of the transformation of its micro, small and medium enterprises. So you have to remember the bank which is the best bank for the small and medium enterprise, that is HDFC Bank, and it is by the Asia Money Best Bank Award 2021. So there are two organizations. One is the Indiabulls. Indiabulls headquarters is in Maharashtra. It was established in 2005, and its managing director is Gagan Banga. You can remember. Now, important is HDFC. HDFC was established in 1977. I am again saying that we are not talking about Housing Development Finance Corporation Bank. We are talking about the NBFC, like Housing Development Finance Corporation. Its headquarters also in Mumbai. Managing director is Renu Sood. CEO is M Mistry. And tagline is with you right through. Now we can move to next question. What is the name of the first neobank of Kerala, which was recently opened by a financial technological company? And the answer of this question is first neobank of Kerala is Ace Money. Remember, Ace Money. You can see Aceware. This is the basically financial technological company who launched the Kerala's first neobank, that is also known as Ace Money Neobank in Kerala. So this is the first neobank of Kerala. You have to remember what is a neobank. It is a kind of a digital bank without any physical branches. It is entirely online instead of being present physically at a specific location. So in the today's world, we need these type of the banks because we are operating everything online. So that's why these are known as the neobanks. And Aceware Financial Technological Services, a Kerala-based financial technological services, opened one of the first neobank, that is known as Ace Money Neobank. It is opened with the partnership of Yes Bank and ICICI Bank, because neobanks don't have any banking license. They are basically using the license of other banks. That's why Yes Bank and the ICICI. Yesterday we covered a question that Google Pay co-creators opened a bank, neobank, that is known as FI, with the partnership of the Federal Bank. So again, they are using the license of the Federal Bank. So Aceware, in association with ICICI Bank, launched Ace Money Micro ATM service in the Kochi and Kerala. So you have to remember, this is the recent related news about the Aceware. And the services of Aceware or the Ace Money are available at all panchayats in Kerala. So remember this. Now you can also remember the other options like Checkbook. Checkbook is the India's first neobank for the small businesses. First neobank for the small businesses. FamPay. FamPay is basically first neobank for the teenagers. And FinIn, India's first full-fledged consumer neobank. So these three questions are very, very important. I am repeating again. Checkbook.com, that is India's first neobank for the small business owners like karyanas, merchants, chemists. FamPay, it is India's first neobank only for the teenagers. FinIn, it is for all. It means India's first full-fledged consumer neobank is FinIn. So remember all these things. And where is the headquarter of this Aceware Financial Technological Service? That is in Kerala. That's why they opened first neobank in Kerala. So guys, now we are moving to the next question, but it is from picture. It is not so much important, but it is a information for you. Indian Railways develops form-based codes for station redevelopmental projects. So you can see this. Indian Railway Station Development Corporation has developed first of its kind form-based codes for commercial development of the railway lands. So this form-based approach has been developed by the Indian Railway Station Development Corporation with support from the Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation. And the code-based approach has been adopted by this organization as per the guidebook issued by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And it is a comprehensive set of codes, norms and guidelines prepared by this organization to plan station redevelopment and regulate commercial development of the railway land. It means how the railway land can be constructed, how the railway land can be used. This is the basically new type of the codes, norms and the guidelines by which they can be built. And it will lead to a systematic and scientific standardization of the development of the railway stations, including commercial development of the railway land. So guys, remember. And recently, Union Minister Piyush Goyal, Ministry of Railway, launched the first of its kind Indian Railways dedicated freight business development portal, so that goods can be transferred from one place to another in very simple manner, and every person who want to transfer the goods from railway can see everything on this portal. So that's why they launched a portal on the lines to improve the ease of doing business rank. So this is the main initiative of the Indian Railways. So guys, remember who is the MD and CEO of this Indian Railway Station Development Corporation? That is SK Loya. And who is the chairman of board of director? That is Mr. Pradeep Kumar. Head office is in New Delhi. So remember all these things. And you can also remember who is the CEO of Railway Board. That is very important because he was recently changed, because VK Yadav retired and new person is Suneet Sharma. He was recently appointed in January 2021. Now we can move to the next section. It is the important question section, guys. You have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. And first here is the Padam Bhushan awardee Shankha Ghosh passed away. He was belonged to which field? So very simple question, and you have to remember two things: that Shankha Ghosh belonged to which state? Shankha Ghosh belongs to West Bengal. and he was very famous Bengali poet. So these two things you have to remember, that he was very famous Bengali poet and he belongs to West Bengal. He received the Padam Bhushan in 2021. Padam Bhushan received in 2011 for his contribution to the literature. He won the prestigious Gyanpith Award in 2016. He also won the Sahitya Academy Award in 1977. So these are very important things you have to remember. So name and the place is very important, and the field is very important again. So if you know Bengali poet, then the state is very simple. Now we can move to the next section. It is our one-liner important point. Here is the first point. CARE rating revised down India's GDP growth forecast for the financial year 22 to 10.2 from 10.7 to 10.9. Again, we yesterday covered this question, that ICRA credit rating of India, credit rating agency of India, downgraded India's growth rate by 0.5%. Again, now CARE rating agency also revised the India GDP because of rising COVID-19 cases. So downgraded India's GDP. Remember, South Korea's LG Electronics closes down mobile phone business. This is a huge loss of LG Electronics in the mobile business in the last 5 years. That's why LG now closed all the operations related to the mobile phone business. Next, government to sell 20% stake in the National Fertilizer Limited and 10% stake in Rashtriya Chemical and Fertilizer Limited. So guys, remember, at present government of India holds 51% stake in the National Fertilizer Limited, 51% stake in the NFL, and in the Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers 75%. 75%. So it is basically a disinvestment by the government under the budget of India. Next, discovered new super Earth GJ740 orbiting a red dwarf star. So you can mark this question in the important. A student of the Canary Island in the Institute of the Canaries discovered a new super Earth at 36 light years from the Earth, called GJ740. So you have to remember GJ740, which is orbiting a red dwarf star, and it takes 2 days, 9 hours and 30 minutes to round around the dwarf star. So it is you can say it is a new Earth which is taking a time like 2 days, 9 hours and 30 minutes to round about a dwarf star, and Earth takes almost 365.24 days, and it is a class of the planet that are twice the size of the Earth, yet lighter than the Neptune and Uranus, can be made of gas, rock, and the combination of the both. So guys, remember what is the meaning of the super Earth. Super Earth is a class of planet that are twice the size of the Earth, but lighter than the Neptune and Uranus, can be made of gas, rock, and the combination of both. And what are the red dwarf stars? They are the common type of the star in the Milky Way galaxy, and due to low intensity, they are not visible to the naked eye. Thus, 20 out of the 30 stars near Earth are red dwarfs. So remember this. Next is the Suhas Kulkarni, India's former international table tennis, passed away at the age of 68. So again, the person is important because he related to which field? He related to table tennis, you have to remember, and he belongs to which state? He belongs to Maharashtra. After his retirement from the active sports, he contributed to the sport as a coach, and he has played in the master table tennis tournament at the national and the international level, and he won the national masters in the table tennis championship in 2019 held in Indore, but he recently passed away at the age of 68 in Maharashtra. Next is South Africa's second largest bank, first Rand bank to exit India. So again, one bank is closing all the operations in India, that is the First Rand, and it is South Africa second largest bank. Recently, one bank, that was Citibank, also exit from India. And the second largest bank in South Africa has decided to withdraw its banking services from India just within a week of Citibank's exit. And First Rand Bank has started its banking service in India in the 2009, but it started lending to the individual customers, small and medium enterprises, only in 2012. But now they are closing all things, and its headquarters is in Johannesburg, South Africa, and it is second largest South Africa bank. So now we are moving to question of the day. And you can also remember one concern here, that why these banks are basically going outside India or exiting from India. The bank decided to exit India in these days because of the increasing non-performing assets in India and its failure to expand further and add more branches. That's why they are going outside India. So now we are moving to the question of the day. What is the question of the day? Where is the printing press of Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited located? So I already told you there are two printing presses. One is the government owned, second is private owned. So here you can see here the Bharatiya Reserve Note Mudran Private Limited, privately owned, or you can say it is owned by the RBI. But it is owned by exactly by the private entity, but RBI has the ownership of this printing press, like Bharatiya Reserve Note Mudran Limited. And this press have two locations. One is the Mysore, second is the Salboni. And answer of this question is both A and B. Mysore is in Karnataka, Salboni is in West Bengal. So guys, remember both A and B. So department receives notes from the 4 currency note printing presses. 2 of the currency notes printing presses are owned by the government of India, and 2 are owned by the Reserve Bank of India, which are again owned by the private entity. Through its fully owned subsidiary, the Bharatiya Reserve Note Mudran Limited, the government owned presses are in the Nasik and in the Devas. Devas is in the Madhya Pradesh and Nasik is in the Maharashtra. And the other two I already covered, that Mysore and Salboni is there. But there are 4 minting presses which are owned by the government of India, that is in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Calcutta and Noida. So you have to remember these are the minting presses, these are the printing presses. So I am repeating all these things, like first here is the Bharatiya Reserve Note Mudra Limited. These are the 2 presses under this. This is owned by the RBI, and one is owned by the government, that is known as the Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India, which is owned by the government of India. So government of India printing presses are in Nasik and Devas, and this is RBI printing presses, and minting presses in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Calcutta and Noida. Now you can also see this question of the day, and question of the day is who heads the board for payment and settlement system? Who heads the board for payment and settlement system? So this is again we are covering the banking and economy questions, so that's why we cover all the questions, and you have to answer only in the comment box. Guys, you have to provide us 700 plus likes, you have to subscribe this channel, you have to press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time, and it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section. And guys, again I am saying you all that don't take life so much serious. Life is beautiful, and always be happy, because happiness is the key of success. Thank you guys for watching this video, and take care.